Gaming has a new video. Fortnite secretly changed this. What did they change? Check it out.
It's me.
Zombie boxes.
Released their new season, players discovered a feature that mysteriously vanished after a few hours. And that's when I realized it was only one of 50 secret changes in Fortnite, and today we're gonna investigate all of them. Like, did you know there's an exotic that Fortnite steals from you? The Shock and Slow Shockwave Launcher is a new version that's able to blast enemies away in slow motion, but you can't actually get a hold of this thing.
Yeah,
Try
why?
walking into the vault, open the glass, and this'll happen.
I never saw this thing.
It disappeared again.
Yeah, no one knows why, but it hasn't been usable all season. What about the item we literally begged Epic not to
I haven't seen
remove,
it once.
only
Have
to
you guys
jump
seen
in and
that?
realize that Fortnite ignored us? Because just a few days before the update, Epic tweeted, "I love sprites. I sure hope nothing bad happens to them," and this is really ominous.
Why'd they put a bug like that, dog?
With over 1,000 replies begging them not to do it, Fortnite just kept taunting us with goodbye posts from the sprites. And of course, a few days later, they were gone from the game. The worst part is they were probably killed by the bugs in the invasion. You're telling me a sprite with Superman powers couldn't fight these guys? Now, if you thought the exotic Shockwave Launcher was a scam, at least the items in the vault are free. But on day one of the season, Fortnite was straight up
That's a really
ripping
good
off
shot.
players for over 1,000 gold. Imagine saving up a ton of bars at the start of a season so you could try out all the new weapons, and you know that good loot can be found through enhanced reboots. Well, some people have been spectating and decided to spend $1,000 to get some better loot, and then get spawned with literally 0 items.
No
Not
way.
like they didn't include just the new weapon. You spent $1,000 for them to not get anything. It wasn't until the next day that Fortnite rushed to fix this, throwing the rare OXR rifle and a shield potion into the van. But for the players who got scammed, they never got their gold back. What about
Yeah,
Fortnite
that's so
secretly
funny.
removing a feature for the first time?
Get
Well, every
scammed,
season
punk!
for the last couple of years, we've had Loot Island show up without fail. It first appeared during the Mega season all the way back in 2023, and since then, it's evolved to things like the Isle of Doom and the Chapter 5 Villa. We've only seen this thing vanish during Remix and OG mini-seasons, which makes sense because the
Dude,
whole
that
map
Remix
disappeared
season was
for
so
those.
good.
But now, out of
Snoop
nowhere,
Dogg
Season
season?
4 has replaced Loot Island with something totally different, a Rift Pod. You'll be in the middle of a game when suddenly you're alerted to this thing soaring down from the sky, and if you're the first to get it, you're guaranteed a mythic lead spitter, 2 slurp juices, and a random legendary item. Honestly, it's way better than Loot Island ever was. Speaking of drops, it's not just pods you gotta look out for, because Epic have brought back a feature without telling anyone. Because at 2 random POIs per match, you can see a
Are you guys stoked to see them do away with the island? I was kind of over the island.
golden name, and I'm sure 99% of you know what this means.
What does that mean?
Hot drops are back, but not in the way you remember.
Oh.
Now the drones have the same loot as an Epic chest, with some
The drones give such mids loot that I don't even recognize when there's a hot drop spot. Yeah, I don't even recognize it.
amazing items and weapons. What makes 0 sense is that Fortnite just made one of the easiest bosses of Chapter 6 even easier. The Queen, it's not exactly the world's most difficult enemy, especially
No.
when the loot pool is full of items that can decimate her with explosives and hundreds of rounds. So why did Fortnite secretly change her to have almost 1,000 less health in solos and 500 to 600 less in the other modes? I mean, I'm just confused. But not every change is controversial. Fortnite has recently decided that it'll give everyone the first Battle Pass skin for
that is
free.
crazy.
But
There's
don't
no
worry,
answer?
if you spent money on the pass, it's not like you're losing out
Dog,
because
I melt the queen, man. Like literally, she doesn't go in the ground one time. As soon as she pops up out of the hole, she's dead in, give me 12 seconds and she's done.
people who don't own it, they have to make it all the way to level 100 just to earn the Halo Spartan. So technically, you're just paying to get it before anyone else. If you've been playing Blitz
Buns
instead of
loot in
regular
the
BR,
drones.
you might have noticed the mythic goldfish is secretly back
And
in
you're
the
making
game.
yourself
This has been
so
the
well
reward
known
for getting to
shooting
level
drones out
5
of the
since
sky.
Blitz came out, but with the Season 4 update, it was completely ruined. Yeah, out of nowhere, it became useless because for
No
whatever
way.
reason, a developer at Epic changed it to work like a boulder explosion. And that's why you're seeing these weird rocks and smokes when you throw it. Now that you know about this, don't risk your life using the
What?
goldfish because it'll probably get you sent back to the lobby.
Honestly, just don't use it at all, dude. It's a mids weapon, dude, and you have to be a FNB to use that, dude.
Now, it's been a while since the season began, and Epic have already figured out what a ton of the major problems are. So they pushed secret updates to completely change how the
I'm
new
talking
items
to you
work.
too,
First
Brett.
up is the Wrecker revolvers, which were some of the most overpowered guns in the loot pool. These are so strong that people chose them over shotguns because you could double pump these things and it would be just as effective, if not better. So
Bring back
Fortnite
the
has
double
cracked down
pump,
on
dude.
this by removing the ability to swap between them quickly and making them worse at long range. So
Fortnite heard there was fun, so they're cracking down on that.
we'll see if that fixes things. But turns out they went even further by lowering the build damage, and regular damage went down by 11% as well. The majority of the complaints, though, were about the swarm strike and how it could just wipe people off the map if you had good aim. And at first we thought it was this powerful because Fortnite wanted it to be used for wiping out hordes of insects. But turns out they could easily fix it without compromising its purpose. Now swarm strikes do less damage to players and builds, but without changing the damage to bugs, and honestly, it sounds pretty fair. Now let's talk about the most controversial item of
don't know
Season
about
4.
fair,
Because
dude.
after you took out the Queen of Demon's Debris, you would get the Spring Leg Medallion, which unlocked double jumps.
Oh, so
if only
good.
Epic realized sooner that this also gave us the ability to bunny hop anywhere we wanted, especially when you combined it with the Surge Medallion sliding.
Oh,
Those were
so
basically impossible to hit. So now they have secretly updated
this
and
guy
toned
has
both of
bad
them
aim,
down.
dude.
Spring Leg now costs you 50% more stamina, and
I
you
had a
don't jump
shotgun,
as
I
high.
would've pop,
But
pop,
instead,
pop
if you
that
want to
guy.
go to space, you'll need to rely on the new launch pads and shockwave grenades, except even these are hard to find now.
So rare.
They were everywhere in the loot pool, so Epic rushed to make them rarer, with their spawn rate lowered and the amount you get in crates and pods have gone down.
Shockwave grenades spawn decreased by 33%, dude. And 26% in chests, 33% floor loot. That's the biggest mistake they've made in a while.
By 2. And in our last video, we also pointed out that S tier plus was basically impossible to achieve. Like, you could rack up tons of kills, take out bosses, and you'd still struggle to hit the top rank. Well, Fortnite actually listened, because now you get way more points for taking out players. Turns out Epic hands out rank XP based on the level of the person you killed, so if you wipe out a C rank, you're not going to get as many points as an S rank. Well, in a secret update, they have now increased how much all of these guys give you across the board, and S plus is actually achievable now. I recommend using the lead spitter if you're trying to do that because it's been secretly buffed also. I didn't expect this of all things to need improving, but now if you use it, you'll notice there's 30% less recoil after 7 bullets. Oddly specific, I don't know why they did that, but it keeps going down the more you shoot. Will Fortnite regret it? Probably. But we waited even longer for the return of one of the most underrated POIs in Fortnite history. Because if you log into Blitz, you'll notice that Ninja's Week has vanished, replaced with the Oathbound from Chapter 4. The Citadel is here in place of
Ninja's
Lazy
Week?
Laps, and everything is themed around it, like townhouses and docks. But also Pleasant Park has been swapped out with trees from Fall, hinting that Anvil Square will replace this in a future update. And that'll happen on August 26th with the Asteria Awakens Week. It's not just POIs that the Oathbound have brought with them. You can now hop into Blitz and discover kinetic ore laying around. Works just like it used to, letting you hit it to launch at an enemy or just stand on it to use yourself. There are so many hidden changes in these extra modes. Like, did you
Yo,
know
or
that
just
Fortnite
die.
OG is hiding a feature Epic forgot to remove? Like, you can now explore the Season 5 map.
Yeah, but you only get S plus with 3 players left in the lobby. Yeah, I know. It's such a bummer. They still need to edit that. Or fix the system so it's like what you get for A tier is what you get for S tier. You know? Wait a minute. Yeah. So you get purple things for S tier and then S plus. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they fix that, but I've never gotten it when there wasn't. It was 3 players is what it usually comes down to.
Exactly how we left it. Except if you were around back then, you'll probably know that double pumping, it wasn't a thing. They got rid of that before the season rolled around in 2018.
So, dude. This is why I was confused when the double pump was still in the game.
Except in 2025, double pump still hasn't been removed. They either completely forgot or they're running a little experiment, maybe deciding to make it permanent for OG. That'd be crazy.
They
It's
should.
weird because other modes like Zero Build are getting worse by the day. As it turns out, Fortnite just secretly deleted one of the best items for it, the Shield Bubble Jr. Not like you could build, so we needed some kind of cover, but that's been vaulted in a season where the biggest POI is a massive hive of open space.
I didn't
I'm
even
not really
notice
sure about
that.
this one, Fortnite, but I am intrigued by the hidden change to super styles. Like, go into the Battle Pass menu to see what the styles would be, and you're out of luck. They're normally hidden this early in the season, except what's interesting is that there are 6 slots here instead of 5. So this either means that more outfits than ever will get their own style, or some leakers think this is reserved for companions, which will drop later this season. Now that would be a long time coming. And you might have noticed that with slurp juices now appearing in things like Rift Pods, there's no real use for the true OG healing item Chug Jugs. They have spent so long tweaking these over the past few seasons to finally work perfectly with the new consumables, and now its time has come to an end. That's right, they've been secretly removed from the loot pool. Speaking of slurp juices, these have also been secretly changed, and now you can find 2 different versions of them at once, purple and gold. Did you know that Fortnite's also been making secret story changes? And you'll only spot it if you go to Utopia City. Notice anything missing? Well, last season there was a giant portal to the vault from chapter 1, you know where the 0 point is? The portal was opened by Hope and Midas, who wanted to safely store the 0 shard here, but after the plan failed and Daigo unleashed all of these insects, it looks like they must have closed the portal as a precaution. And in preparation for the first new helicopters in a long time, Epic has secretly updated all of the helipads around the map to charging pads. That's right, you're not gonna have to awkwardly fly to a gas station to charge up. You'll be able to just land on one of these, recharge, and fly away. Over in Fortnite OG, history is now being rewritten. I said earlier that the Season 5 map is exactly how we left it, but if you look real close, you'll notice that some hidden changes have been made, all teasing a future update. So what's happening? Well, a new wolf statue that was never in Chapter 1 has shown up, and it's howling at the moon. We have no idea what it's doing here, but this gets weirder. The iconic Nom store at Retail Row is also changed to be called Moon. Like, obviously these two are connected somehow, and fans think it might be teasing the return of Dire next season. But this timeline is also making changes to the live events, because you already got to see the rocket launch create a red rift in the sky, and that definitely didn't happen in 2018. Well, this will have consequences for when Kevin shows up in a few weeks, because it's not going to be Kevin. For the first time since Chapter 2, we'll be introduced to a new cube that is red. So I guess we got to come up with a name for this guy as well. That's not all you got to look out for. Someone at Epic accidentally put this onto the OG map. It's a slurp cactus. It looks like a mistake.
I also didn't remember these. Yeah, dude, I was going by these and I was like, dude, I don't think that these were in the game in Season 5, man. But I'm glad that they put them in, dude. That's rad.
And it was just meant to be a normal one, but some players think it might be on purpose and a cool way to give us some health on the old island. Well, I guess we'll know in a future update if they delete this or not, especially considering you could already get health from the mushrooms around the map, which have also been secretly changed. Everyone knows you get 5 shield per mushroom, but you'd actually be wrong. It is now 10 shield instead, and it's only in Fortnite OG. It's just like this random stonehead at Starry Suburbs, because obviously in Chapter 1, this got replaced with a stadium, but because that didn't happen this time around, it's now rifted into the middle of the POI. It looks like we're gonna have OG Starry for even longer. Now let's head back to normal BR for the rest of the video, where you'll realize that buying stuff from NPCs, it's never like before. This used to be so easy. Land on the map, and immediately you could grab the loot you wanted. It was great for lowering RNG, helped a ton of skilled players, but not anymore. Fortnite has now added a rank requirement to buy anything, so you have to actually play the game before you can get the items you want. And if you remember me briefly mentioning the launch pads earlier, that's because they've been quietly updated for the new season, and now they go double the height. So how do you know you're holding a new launch pad? Well, take a look at the brand new design on them. And did you know that dumpsters and porta potties have also been disabled? It seemed like they were working fine, but it looks like Fortnite has clearly discovered a bug that they have to fix, so they have both been vaulted for the foreseeable future. We also have no idea why they got rid of the most convenient battle pass feature, because autoclaim has always been helpful for keeping up with 4 different passes at once. I mean, it's a lot. But at the end of last season, it was disabled with 0 explanation. We thought it would come back for the new season, but we're totally wrong, and now I'm feeling the struggle. Like having to start all of these new passes from scratch and redeeming everything, my fingers are hurting here. What about the collab POI you probably forgot about that was secretly removed this season? Because over at the Lakeside Lab, you can find the OXR investigating this area. What was here a couple weeks ago? Well, it was the Fortress of Solitude, and once you remember it was here, you're thinking, of course. Like, I just find it really terrible that Superman just kind of left us here to fight the bugs on our own.
Oh no,
what about
and dude, how much work they put into that? It's kind of insane, like how little of a splash it made.
Deadmau5 getting secretly removed, because diehard fans have noticed that his outfit has no tattoo on his neck, whereas the real Deadmau5 has a Space Invader. It's obviously been removed because of licensing issues. Some people think that Fortnite already collabed with Space Invaders, so it shouldn't be a problem, but that was actually a Galaxian emote, and that's just a really similar arcade game. Moving on to the island itself, if you remember the demolished bird location from Season 2, well, now the OXR built a small camp here. I love the details like the tire marks that show where they unloaded everything. I mean, all that effort into a tiny camp barely anyone notices. Speaking of bird, one of the gas stations near the hive has actually been invaded by the insects. They stole the head of the mascot, dragged it down towards their nest, and they created an entire shrine dedicated to bird. Kind of crazy they worship that. But that's not the only mascot head destroyed by the bugs, because Pump Power has basically been ripped apart during the invasion, and now it's known as Swarm Surge.
Thank
So
God.
now the plan's robot head is displayed in full view for everyone to see the
LPOI.
damage. Same problem can be found at Brutal Boxcars, which is super controversial, by the way. Like, the whole place has been crushed and renamed to Swarmy Stash, and fans think it looks boring now, blending in with the rest of the OXR bases.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's some pretty
It
cool
is a
hidden
bit
map
boring.
changes like the Frog family. These guys have set up an entire war table, planning on how they're gonna defend against the bugs, which means they're doing more to help than Superman and Robin, who I'm still not over abandoning us, by the way. Now, we've already talked about Loot Island being gone, but for a while, it was the only place on the map, other than the train, where you could capture the POI for some loot. Well, not only is the island gone, but the train has been removed as well. It doesn't mean capture points have totally disappeared.
Aren't catch reports supposed to go faster if you emote? Because that doesn't seem like a thing.
In fact, Fortnite has secretly
Remember
updated a ton of
Battlestars?
POIs,
Yeah,
letting you
dude.
take control of them for actually pretty
Yeah, that's
reasonable loot.
crazy.
Be warned though, it takes forever to get them on your own. Who remembers the POI that left everyone theorizing?
forgot all
You
about
see,
that.
this was Lost Lake,
They
which had
used
the
to know
ancient
more. Why
temple
would
and
they take
underwater
that out?
statue. Everybody wanted to figure out what this meant, especially when Lone Wolf Lair appeared and kept the statue visible through a glass floor. This had to mean something, right? Well, Hive showed up this season and completely wiped out the statue, gone for good. I guess it wasn't that important after all. And I bet you don't know about the new quality of life change that's gone completely unnoticed. Because before, when using medallions or boons, you'd have to open your inventory to view them, making them easy to miss. Now it shows all in the bottom left of your screen, making it easier than ever to look at your abilities at a glance.
Nice.
Now everyone's already
Yeah, I do
noticed
like
all
that
the
change.
spires have disappeared. But what people are forgetting is that they used to have loot inside. You could get unstable exotics from most of the spires, but with them getting removed, it also means that these guns have vanished. Like, the only exotics you could get now are all the vault items rather than unstable ones. So that also means that most of the corruption around the map from the spires have been undone. Eating all of it, it was pretty pointless. And I'm kind of bummed out that Fortnite decided to remove Season 2's coolest
I never
healing
even
item.
noticed that
Earlier
glass
this
floor
year,
in
they
there.
introduced the Medmist grenade, and it was insanely awesome. Not just because it healed everyone,
Yo,
but it
it
also
was,
created
dude.
cover,
Bring that
which came
back.
in clutch during tense fights. Not anymore, because Fortnite have swapped these back to normal Medmist sprays, meaning you actually have to be close to teammates to heal them again. Immediately after the live event ended
It's a
last
W
season,
move,
the
but
first
also an
teaser
L
for Season
move.
4 began with small insects flying around these
They should
holes
just
at
have
the
both in the
Kraken's
game.
tentacle. This was clearly where the initial wave of bugs invaded, except go in there now and you'll find they've all been blown up and closed by the OXR in the time between seasons. They also spent that time removing Supernova's Academy Tech Labs. These
Beware
used to
bugs
spawn
and
across the
coffee.
whole island,
What?
locking onto a bunker door and opening it up. You get hero weapons, tons of loot, and a rip to get out of there. Obviously, having these in Season 4, it didn't really make much sense, so they have been replaced by the new OXR bunkers. You can get into these if you're rank A or above,
The
but be
rat
careful
rooms.
memorizing where they are. 2 of them will be secretly chained up every match, and it just locks you out. And if you saw my most recent video, you know that Fortnite absolutely messed up with Season 4's new emote. Recently, we got the Skate NATO spin in the shop, but it wasn't long before fans realized it was a clone of the Tornado spin. So fans rushed to social media to complain about Epic shoving reskins down their throat to justify higher bundle prices. And surprisingly, Fortnite listened. Not only will everyone who owns both of these dances be given 100 V-Bucks
Wait,
or a free
what?
refund ticket, but Epic
Did I get Skate NATO?
is going even further by offering both of the emotes in a separate bundle for a heavy discount. I just can't believe
Somebody
they
give it to
secretly
me,
changed
Skate
50
NATO.
things in Fortnite's bug invasion. Anyway, it's been Tommy. Leave a like if you want to, and keep
I
it
think
here
so.
on Top 5 Gaming.
Hey, let's go. Another W video from Top 5 Gaming.
What-
Make sure to subscribe. As always, like it. Thanks for tuning on into this one. Catch you in the next one.